Now for our featured story of the day. Back-to-back headlines with Mikey Saylor. Bitcoin-centric strategy, Saylor envisions MicroStrategy as the leading bank for crypto. And this other headline from Forbes, Michael Saylor reveals shock $100 trillion MicroStrategy endgame as Bitcoin price suddenly soars. So let's break this baby down. I got two fantastic articles. I think they'll both be good, but let's start with the non-Forbes article. We'll give them first mover advantage. So yeah, a leading Bitcoin financial institution. We have Gautam Shangani, head of the digital asset at Bernstein. He shared insights from Saylor's discussion, indicating MicroStrategy core business strategy revolves around creating capital market instruments tied to the Bitcoin. This includes equities, convertible bonds, fixed income, and preferred stock. Saylor envisions a future where the company holds substantial financial instruments backed by the biddy, potentially amassing $100 billion to $150 billion in Bitcoin assets. Saylor elaborated his vision, I believe it was just yesterday over on X. He wrote, "This is the most valuable asset in the world. The ultimate goal is to be the leading Bitcoin bank or merchant bank, or you can call it a Bitcoin financial company." Very powerful words right there. And I already believe him because everything he says comes true. MicroStrategy founder outlined an ambitious financial trajectory, suggesting with its strategic growth, the company would reach a market valuation, check this, of 300 to 400 billion and enter the fixed income market while continuously acquiring more Bitcoin. He's buying it forever. Why? It's going up forever, Laura. So yeah, let's discuss it. This 100 trillion market size. The long-term belief is Bitcoin as the premier deflationary currency is central to the Saylor strategy. And we ain't talking about Popeye the Sailor Man. We're talking about Mikey Saylor. Bitcoin accounts for approximately 0.1% of the global financial capacity or capital. But Saylor predicts this figure can rise to 7% by 2045, corresponding to a price of 13 million per coin. That's USD. Let's go. Bernstein analysts noted that if the U.S. capital markets permit MicroStrategy to raise funds through various financial instruments, the company would pursue opportunities to profit from the difference between the U.S. dollar capital markets and the Bitcoin. And when discussing the scalability of MicroStrategy's debt strategy, Saylor expressed confidence, stating, "I think it's infinitely scalable." Let me repeat. I think it is infinitely scalable. I don't think we'll have any problem raising 100 billion or even 200 billion of capital after that. Easy peasy. Saylor believes Bitcoin is a $1 trillion asset class, preach, poised to expand significantly, projecting it can grow to 10 trillion and ultimately reach 100 trillion in market size. Now, they say the total addressable market of all the financial capital in the world is like 7 to 900 trillion. So if Bitcoin maybe captured, what is that, 10% of that? We're talking about 100 trillion. Yeah, roughly 10%, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. That's just my math in my head here. The support of his case for Bitcoin's growth, Saylor presented a detailed crypto market analysis, predict an annual growth rate of 44% over the next 4 years, gradually tapering off at 30%, ultimately expecting the Bitcoin to return to outperform the S&P 500 by 8%. And at this time, Bitcoin's trading above 63 Gs. Let's tap into the Forbes article. Saylor reveals shock 100 trillion MicroStrategy endgame as the Bitcoin price suddenly soars. Let's see what we can find interesting here. There's the guy right there. There's the man of the hour. You're looking at the employee of the month for the entire Bitcoin network. You got to love it. My question for you guys, how many of you got to front run Michael Saylor, meaning you got involved in Bitcoin prior to 2020? Because if so, he works for you. How cool is that? You got Mikey Saylor working for you. So yeah, Bitcoin is the most valuable asset in the world. Saylor began buying Bitcoin at the software turned Bitcoin acquisition vehicle back in 2020, told Bernstein analysts in an interview. It was revealed by Bernstein digital asset lead. The client has been seen in the block. Here's the end game. We're discussing this 100 trillion end game. Check it. Quoting Saylor, "The end game is to be leading Bitcoin bank or merchant bank, or you can call it a Bitcoin finance company," Saylor said, with MicroStrategy creating Bitcoin capital market instruments across equity, convertible fixed income, and preferred shares. If we end up with 20 billion of converts, 20 billion of preferred stock, 10 billion of debt, and say 50 billion billion of some kind of debt instrument and structures instrument. We'll have 100 billion and 150 billion. Saylor has just built up a hoard of over 252,000 Bitcoin like it ain't no thing, worth now 15.7 billion as MicroStrategy began issuing debt to fund the Bitcoin purchases. A strategy could mean MicroStrategy gets margin called with a demand for extra capital if the Bitcoin price should fall below a certain level, but we all know the Giga Chad's the Giga Chad for a reason. I think it is infinitely scalable. I think that's the key right here, and that's what's fantastic. I don't have any problem seeing how we could raise 100 billion, 200 billion. The asset class is going to 10 trillion, even 100 trillion. So just let me know your thoughts. With Bitcoin reaching 100 trillion market cap, where do you think that would take the Bitcoin price action? And don't be shy. Let me know. And welcome to the Q&A segment of the live stream. We're at the top of the hour. We got 1,143 people here live and in the flesh. And it's a very special day today, October 12th, Chandy's birthday, #1 Bitcoin music channel. You already know we're here to celebrate. And now we just need to summon her to the stream. And don't forget, there's a live poll up. Let me know Bitcoin 2024 Q4 price peak. That poll is up on the YouTube. If you're watching on X right now, I encourage you to also join us on YouTube to participate in the chat you see on the screen, participate in the poll, and also make sure to subscribe. #1 Bitcoin channel. Hands down. Hands down.